What would he have done? Who would he have become if he'd only had the courage to be who he really was? Upstanding citizen, teacher, reader of facts and figures, but in his heart, buried so deep, was the key to that secret dream. Well, I pray, wherever he has gone, that he found the key, and he is living his dream. Who was that woman? What would she have done? Who would she have become if she'd only had the courage to be who she really was? It's Daddy's little girl, Princess Fairy. She ruled the world, but in her heart, buried so deep, was the key to that secret dream. Well, I pray, wherever she has gone, that she found the key, as she is living her dream. She is living that dream.
I choose the truth. I choose love. I choose to be of service to love now. And if there's anything that would be helpful for me to bring through, or helpful to share with other people about this transition, both on an inner and outer level, if needed for that perspective, I welcome it. I welcome the truth. You are owning your own truth. You are owning your power. To be born here, to grow up within the context, the time, space, place, context in these decades. Your intent was to find the treasure within. You had help. Many of you have help with this. Some of you remember your meetings with what you term non-human intelligence, although we have suggested that it is very much part of your consciousness, but that is for another time. You asked to be reminded, and this in some cases is literal, a reminding. Memory of the heart and the heart consciousness emerges from these intersections with the context that you have been residing within and the universal context. So many of you had this intent to once and for all in this major crossroads in time, recall these other aspects of your consciousness that have been pushed, hidden, locked away. And the conditioning encourages this. The levels of fear that begin to develop, fear and anxiety that develops from this blocking of the feminine aspects of your being. This is what your anxiety and fears come from. There is not the mother. There is not your feminine self present to emotionally embrace the conundrums. So we have said in the past, and we continue to say, that she is here and she is emerging if she is welcomed. Now, what does the welcoming mean? What is it to welcome the feminine? It is simply to be willing to feel. And it is for each individual to perhaps meditate upon this, perhaps do the feeling exercises that we have suggested. What are your feelings around this? What is the truth of your feelings? And this is the power of this exercise, to move the feelings up and out. And if you are honest with yourselves, many of you, you will find that you were quite deliberately taught to suppress your feelings. And we have always pointed out that isn't that interesting, that this is precisely where your power lies. This is your superpower, as we have stated many times in the past. So there is fear of the present moment, and there is fear of your emotions. Because you do know that what lies beneath you were taught is scary, you were taught cannot be trusted, when in fact it is quite the opposite. We have engaged with the channel in this way many times through the dream states and what she terms lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences. These were lessons to show her that it truly is something to consider, with the statement of one of your well-known human messengers. There is nothing to fear but fear itself. And this is very true. If you were to allow yourselves to be present and actually feel, something quite magical occurs. What you thought, what you projected to be scary is not actual. When you are present and feeling and being truthful, you are brought into alignment with the feminine aspects of your consciousness, with your heart, with the truth. And this is where the alignment takes place. the realignment, for this is how you are designed. We do speak of evolution quite often. And we also add that first is the restoration of your original design. There is nothing new. There are no upgrades in order for you to accomplish this restoration in your consciousness and the rebalancing with yourself and the earth and the stars. And this is not something that takes a very long time in your earth years in time-space. This has been an illusion as well that has been in the mix in what you are being told and taught in your 3D reality. It goes rather quickly once you are in the present moment and once you are willing to feel and be present with the fears. They begin to move. They disappear. They are released. They are let go simply because they are not kept alive by your thinking mind, by your fears, by your projections. You are brought back into your alignment, your own oneness with yourself, with your heart, with your Creator. Then what emerges is your power, your long lost power. Always. It has always been available to you. You simply could not feel it anymore. At a certain point, you lost your senses. It is the intention of this human and this alignment in consciousness to remind you of your feeling nature and remind you of the power of this. It will be most helpful to you in these times. Align with your source. Embody this source, these source frequencies, the feminine, the mother. It's time for all of this to come together and to come home into this embodiment, if you choose. And these are the meek that inherit the earth, grow with the earth, move with the earth, and her changes in these times. It is difficult to translate much of this, for this phase of translation is changing. We are not reaching into the linear mind as much anymore. We are working more with energy now. From our perspective, it is more of an enabling of human consciousness to stay in fear rather than continue to invite your own choice to move with source frequencies, with love, with the magnetic nature of your being. And it is our intent to broadcast these frequencies so that you might feel and remember. For that is the potential of each and every human to be in the midst of the energies that are being broadcast and integrated by many other humans. It is changing your reality, and this is what you are witnessing. It is falling apart, all that is not based on truth. And the lies are surfacing for all to see, to make decisions about what you move forward with and what you do not, what is true for you, what is not. And we have always encouraged these decisions to be made by energy, by frequency, which is the most accurate way to navigate in your lives, the most helpful, the most efficient. If you are simply reading or listening, watching the opinions of other human beings based on their conditioning and based on their levels of fear or levels of love embodied, and then making a decision based on what you resonate with, this could be problematic. What do you resonate with? Are you aware of the fear that you carry within your consciousness, within your bodies? And when you hear a match for whatever percentage you are living within of fear versus love, love versus fear in your own embodiment, then you will match and find resonance with that particular voice or voices in your outer world. So the intention to be as present and powerful and truthful now within your own heart, your own body, your own lives will lead you to the reorientation. And what this reorientation is the alignment with your universal consciousness, with your source. Then you engage with your world, you engage with the earth, the natural world, which includes human beings. And you create from this whole platform. Now, imagine what your world will look like coming from this platform. In love. Many of you chose to be here at this time so that you could make this actual transition. Many of you are what you might term graduates of this system or systems, these cycles in time. And you know who you are. We speak to a variety of types of human beings with types of intentions at this time. You have noted that there are different voices that do come through with different perspectives. Different meaning different ways of viewing the truth, different ways of viewing this time on earth, different ways of reaching into the core of your consciousness. Some humans require more of a tough love approach. This is not what this particular collective voice is speaking from, but it is understood that the other perspectives are required from time to time. And it is a form of tough love. And the emphasis is on the word love. There are times when the truth is not comfortable. We are not here to help you to feel comfortable with all of these radical changes and shifts in consciousness. More than likely, it will be quite uncomfortable at times. This is not stated to generate fear. This is stated to emphasize the need to begin this communication with your Creator, with your angels, with your guides, with whatever being it is that you have projected this love upon, that you have disowned in your own life. Whatever archetype is holding that space for you, we are encouraging your own direct dialogue with the archetype. For it is time for this integration now. This channel has had many conversations with Jesus over her lifetime. Dream conversations, out-of-body conversations. She is quite familiar with this extraordinarily loving presence and guide. But she does not speak of it often. For in the world with a more limited framework or spectrum of consciousness, this information could either validate or invalidate what they believe and cause argument and division. This is why we choose to remain in the energy of the truth versus the explanations of what you believe is truth or not truth. We have said in the past, there is nothing to believe here, but there is something to know. As it resonates deeply within the core of your being, the truth, that does set you free. This is how it is done. This is what your Jesus Christ, representative of your source creator, taught. And he was not the only one. He is simply the most famous one. You have had many teachers. Many beings have come directly from your source to be born here and to interact with you, to help you remember who you are. We have used the explanation We have approached the word believe and showed you that splitting it apart, leave, in that splitting up and seeing it from these opposite viewpoints, from being and leaving. We say, you do not have to split this up. You do not have to leave your own being, your own aligned being with your source in order to understand something or explain something in the smaller spectrum of consciousness. You do not need to believe anything. What all of these teachers that have come to share with you is, do not leave your own being to know. Be and know. And you are guided in love with clarity in your lives through these changes that are coming upon you. It need not be frightening. It need not be difficult. If you are aligned with your source, you will know what you need to know when you need to know it. So the practice that we have been emphasizing is simply show up and begin to connect with these beings that you have given this authority and power to in the light and the ones that you give power and authority to that resonate with your fears. You are bridging to love now. You are bridging to the truth. So whatever you have been projecting into the darkness and projecting into the light must be owned now. Must be witnessed and released so that there is room for the direct resonance with your Source Creator. All of this will not come with linear explanations. This is a process that requires your emotional intelligence. And many of you have suppressed this to such a degree that you have devalued and perhaps do not even recognize the value of your emotions. There is a certain pride and arrogance on some levels for some of you humans who feel that they have mastered their minds, their bodies, by dismissing feelings. By dismissing feelings, you are dismissing your heart consciousness, which is the greater consciousness that you were designed to employ. And it is all a choice now. And there is not judgment, as we have stated many times. There is not judgment. You all may choose now. What is the path for you? What is it that you want to move forward into? What do you feel you are aligned with, and what are you confident with in your choice when the fork in the road is presented to you. That is all. We are simply sitting with you on the path as you come to this crossroads. And we are simply suggesting perhaps you may want to look at it this way. Perhaps you might want to sit down and practice this feeling meditation. Perhaps you would like to directly experience what it is that you have been denying, what you have been taught to deny. The feminine. Feelings, heart, soul. What is your relationship to these things? For many of you, they are ideas, they are thoughts. They are not directly felt. So, this voice and other voices that come through this channel have this mutual intention to simply share with you other perspectives, other aspects of your own consciousness, what you were designed to be, for your own reflection. And now that your outer world is not precisely mirroring back to you as it did more efficiently before, perhaps it is not mirroring back to you a solid sense of righteousness and truth and peace that you had come to identify with and trust in this outer world, in this outer reality. Perhaps this is what might cause pause before these choices are made. And perhaps not. Perhaps this is something that you feel engaged with. The game, the power struggles, the hatred, the division. Perhaps there is a reason you feel drawn to it, to remain engaged with the game pieces, the symbols that stand for you on the board. This board game that is getting more violent and volatile as you go. What we share to empower you is the perspective of your universal self. That is not wholly who you are. That is not wholly representative of what is possible for you. And that by turning inward and becoming innocent and honest about what you are actually feeling in any given moment, that is your doorway within. That is your doorway to the rest of your consciousness, if you choose. So in many cases, you are being brought to this crossroads in time to decide what is real and what is not, what has value and what does not. And you have the power to choose. That is all. For those who choose to remember more and to embody more of who they are, the truth of who they are, we are here. And there are others who are here to assist in helping you to bridge, in helping you to feel safe and as comfortable as possible during these important shifts in frequency. We will leave it at that. And we thank you always for your attention. You are glorious beings with infinite capacities for the embodiment and the sharing of this grace, this love that is yours. One day, one moment, what you term to be flowery words and descriptions will land in your own consciousness, in your own physicality, and you will get to feel what this feels like. And that, in many cases, appears to be what you are most afraid of. We thank you. We love you. Good day.
For you